Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Jason. How are you doing? Oh, still on
You.
mute, dude. Hold on. I got you.
No.
I unmuted you. Sorry.
Hi. Hi. Good morning.
All you said was hi. I get it. Plush Garden, good morning. We missed you too. What's going on? Dr. Feelgood, how are you doing? Jason Turner, chatting while on screen. What's up, buddy?
Oh, Dom, let's talk about the nine negatives,
The 4 Plus Club?
the 4+ club. Let's reframe that positively.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm asking myself, what excuse am I giving for feeling anything less than 9+ today? And I don't really have an excuse. I'm just tired. That's all. It's Friday. School's almost over. I should be on cloud nine. I'm just
Right?
feeling a little bit thin. And you kind of mentioned that yourself before we got on here. What's going on with you?
Um, for me, it's more of like things are going good. They're a little, hectic and stressful right now. I think, end of school year brings about the, I don't know what you call it, but maybe it's like the dissolution of like a routine and like having to find yourself in a different routine. And while that's not very much my responsibility. That's more on my wife than it is me. It still does ripple, as the book would say, throughout the whole rest of the family, and it does. I still do get that energy and that blowback in that change. Like we're the type of parents that we don't put our kids in a lot of stuff unless they like specifically ask for it. So we're not signing them up for a bunch of camps or anything like that. So summers for me, I do feel at times that maybe we should be putting our kids in more stuff, but I look at it more along the lines of like the more stuff you put your kids in, that's the more stuff you're putting on your plate as a parent, eh, versus just allowing the summer to be more of like a relaxing break because you only get so many of those before the kid like going back to like what we've talked about before, like allowing the kids to have like a childhood, like actually explore, play with friends, like not have like the full responsibilities and commitments. Like my daughter Bailey, like so she's in high school sports, so like her summers accounted for. Like she has to go to cheer, she has summer school, she has all this stuff. So like for the little ones, it's like um I'd rather not put them in anything because I'd rather them have freedom while they still have freedom. Like to have like a lazy summer or a fun summer or define their summer in any way that they want to. I don't know how I got on that tangent, but I
I think that's a great place to start today.
yeah. Oh, it
Um,
was the dissolution of the routine. Like the routine of like the last couple of months, we've known exactly how every day was going to go, and now that's getting revised. And for us, it's never the same. Like year after year, it's always different, but it's always also kind of the same. So yeah. What about you?
I think my goal today with you is to turn this +4 club into at least a +8 club. Uh, because, and we'll start here. We get the opportunity to decide what we're going to do for the summer with our kids. Not everybody gets to do that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the dissolution of routine. I think that's exactly where I am, where I'm at right now, or at least one of the places my head is at. There's a certain stress that comes with summer, and like yeah, I get it. I'm about to not have to have any professional duties for about 1.5 months, and I'm very thankful for that. But what I've kind of realized over the past few days is once the professional duties go away, now I got my personal duties to do, the things that I said I was going to do, which comes with its own
Read all those books. Read all those books you didn't read.
read some books. A few things that I've set for myself as far as like curating all my teaching content, the things where there's nobody accountable for it except for me, you know? So that's kind of where my head's at going into this summer, which I feel like I think I'm a little bit more prepared for that than like previous summers. We have the kids in some camps. We do have 2 of our kids going to summer school for 4 days a week for 1 month. And we do have some solid plans, more so than previous summers.
Okay. Yeah.
So like we do have things built in, which is also a different routine. But that might be one place where I struggle is like when my professional duties go away, that's kind of like a security blanket for me because I know what I'm doing. One of the things that me and Kristen talked about the other day. So one of the questions we do this, like we have this couples app that we do just as like a conversation piece. I brought it up before a few times, but one of them was like, what's your most comfortable place besides home? And for me, it's actually like at school in my studio classroom, because like that entire place, for better or for worse, is my own universe. I made everything in it.
Yeah, you curated the space. Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of where my head's at, is definitely a change in routine. And I always thought of myself as somebody who can kind of roll with it. And the past year or so, I felt that maybe I do like routine a little bit more than I've been willing to admit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me it's trying to get back to it. Like I've changed a little bit and I haven't been as strict with certain things that I wanted to be strict with. So I'm trying to reset myself up, and this is the month in I don't know what the month title is, but in the Daily Stoic journal that I read, this is the month of like habit forming. So today's reading was about habit stacking, and I remember reading this year after year and like getting remotivated to get those habits back in place and figure out a way to track those habits. And then I was just listening to a podcast yesterday about AI, and I was so like I almost got lost and like didn't open the show, but I was like throwing like an app idea into an AI agent program to build something for me, which I didn't know was possible until yesterday.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of possibility there. I've done the same experimenting before. It's like I think the most code heavy thing that I've done with it, kind of like an app, was code a very simple game of Pong. And it does it for you. Like if you ask it to like write you like an HTML and CSS Pong game, you can play Pong right in the ChatGPT window, which is like bonkers, But yeah, the habit stacking that hits. I've touched on that very infrequently, not as a habit. But I've been there, like the days where you're +9, it's like all those habits line up and they lean into better habits, and you make those good ripples for the day and for the week.
Yeah.
And sometimes those habits are balanced like a thing that doesn't balance very well, and sometimes it falls down. And I've kind of been in that spot for maybe the past 2 weeks or so. Then I had a weird migraine yesterday. It's just like one of those like mind erasing migraines where it's like nothing is you like you can't like fully comprehend whatever is going on around you. It was really weird. Then I went to soccer practice last night with Kira, and I was just like, felt like I was like following directions from the coach, like the kids, like, oh, okay, we're gonna go over here now. Okay, let's go. Let's go over here. Just a very, very odd headache.
Yeah, and that's what, like, for me too. Like, I've been a little sick, ever since last week, and it's kind of messed with me a little bit all week long. And it's been a busy week, and I have one final day of busyness this week, and then I get to check out for the weekend. Although we do have plans and stuff like that, so it is what it is. But it's been tough weeks right now. I think all this stuff in my work hit all at the same time. I was in the process, and I knew this was coming, but I was in the process of speaking with two different people, one a virtual assistant and the other one more of a, I don't know what you call him, but like a business consultant to help me kind of, grow my business and split my business. But I had told them both, like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get this off the ground soon, because I knew that this period of these 3-4 projects all hitting hard phases at once was coming, along with the last weeks of school, which are very much like, I told myself I didn't want to miss things. So, going home early. Next week is last day of school, and so I have a graduation for Bentley out of kindergarten, and then last day of school for the kids. So there's like some days where I want to be present for all that stuff, and so I knew that was going to happen, and I didn't. So that's been kind of weighing on my mind a lot. That like I wanted to do this stuff, but I'm not able to, and now I'm feeling like I'm a little behind is all. So I think that was what was weighing on me this morning and previous mornings.
So a number of projects that are intertwining with the end of the year routine change of the family.
Yeah. You can't line it up, like it just happens.
Yeah.
Schedules just happen. I mean, I've always known this one job was going to finish in June. Like, that was always the goal. Do I always hit the goal? No, not really. But this has been a really smooth sailing job. So I kind of always knew this month was coming. And that's why, originally we were supposed to go to Belize in June, but I kind of told my wife, we need to cancel that and just go somewhere closer. I told her, only 3-day weekends, no week-long vacations until I'm out of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. How would you imagine all this going? Like if it would go like your absolute perfect imagining of this specific time, what would yours be? Based on what you just said. Because I have mine.
You have what?
I have mine, how I would imagine this time to go best as possible.
Oh, go ahead. Do yours well, I think.
So my best possible setup for this time is like my habits are lined up for the summer that I'm already doing. I'm kind of doing it. Like my mornings will stay the same. But also the mornings involve the kids more. Like I love this time that we have, but it also takes away half an hour where I would love to spend time with my middle child, because that's when Junie is up and kind of on her own in the house. So like my perfect morning is waking up, getting on with you guys, spending time with her, because most of my other time, like I have tons of time with Kira. It's because like we're usually in transit to school and soccer.
Yeah.
So like the habits that I'm trying that I would imagine being like really lined up, or like getting my kid time with each kid
one-on-one. Yep.
in the mornings. Waking up, my ideal wake up time was like 4:35, 4:30 to 5, not 4:35. That's way too specific. Um, Gives me time in the morning to get my things rolling, and then help the family with their routines, with the hope that it ripples into the summer to connect into the reading today.
Yeah.
What's yours? If you were to look back a month ago, how would you imagine all this time to go as smooth as possible?
I mean, it's actually not going too bad, other than like getting sick and kind of having to deal with that. I think the only thing is because I'm prioritizing work and then prioritizing family, like, and I wouldn't say first and second, I would just say they're kind of like both my top priorities. Um, the thing that I haven't been able to get into is my health, right? So staying on top of good eating habits, staying, active, either walking or in the gym. So I think I'm kind of, maybe that's why I got sick. Maybe that's why, like, I'm just a little achy throughout the day, like, especially because I'm driving to and from work a lot more right now. So I'm in the car, 3, 4 hours a day. So I think that's kind of the issue right now for me. That was the thing I was thinking on the most heavily this morning, is like, is how far I've gone from any sort of um, food and fitness routine. Do you guys do a miracle morning or a morning routine? I don't know what a miracle morning is. Do you?
I like it. I have a morning routine
Yeah,
that I'm not particularly nailing these days.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Definitely morning routine person. It's a matter of getting back to it, and then that's what I was doing with the chat GPT, like the AI today, was trying to work on some sort of routine, accountability, scheduling, something or other to try to help me track it. Because I think in previous years, when I've set up some sort of tracking system, I've I've felt a little bit more committed to it um, throughout the day, as opposed to like what I've been doing lately, where I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna do this stuff, and then like I just don't, I just go to work after this call.
mhm.
Oh, it's a book. Miracle Morning is a book by Hal Elrod. Okay, and Dylan knows it. All right, I'll look into it. I haven't heard
Um,
of it, but
we got 10 minutes.
oh yeah, let's talk
Let's
ripples.
let's get in the page ripple making.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love this.
I put a cue for the couch in the chat today. I'm gonna jump into Ryan's media assets here, and
Uh-oh.
we're gonna plus one this chat here. Uh,
What
where's
small act of kindness given to you during your own childhood still echoes in your life today? Wow. Do you
something?
have one in mind?
I have a few very vague ones, and I was really trying to nail like a really poignant one. But one that sticks out to me is, and this is kind of a tiny one, um, and it for some reason I just kind of think about this once in a while. But I remember me and my brother were at a park where there was like a little field house, and it was like the little field house with a bathroom, and there was a vending machine, and there was a vending machine dude in there restacking the vending machine. And it was like the first time that I remember ever seeing how those things were working. And the vending machine guy just grabbed two iced cinnamon buns out of the box and just gave them to me and Ryan. And I thought that was very kind. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I think that was like one of the first times I remember getting something for free. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't think I was more than like 8 or 9. Uh, but that was like one of the first ones And I'm trying to think of like something bigger, like something that like, guides my thinking today. And I'm having a hard time thinking of one, but I'm sure some of our listeners here in the chat.
Yeah, Dr. Feelgood said he had an 80-year-old neighbor that would often bring them fish from his fishing trips. He was super old but super healthy, and it felt like such a huge thing for him to do for us. It's awesome. Like, it's really cool. I I don't know that this is towards your answer, but I know I've heard a lot of times people reference like the elderly and how much like how like a good portion of society and all of us like kind of push them off to the side and like don't think much of them and stuff like that. But if you really tap in with the elderly, and like hang out with them, like there's just so much experience and wisdom, and it is super beneficial. Like I know, like Gary really talks about that a lot. And then my story on the elderly is like the place where we used to live. There were two different gentlemen on the block, both of them named Herb, and my no, sorry, one was
I
Herb,
knew a
one
Herb.
was Hank. One was Herb, one was Hank. Um, and my middle child, Brooklyn, who's like our empath in the family, she just had like the strongest relationship with both of them, that she would, go up and give old man Hank, is what we called him, a hug. She'd always want to knock on his door if he wasn't outside after like walking home from school or whatever. And then like he would give her like a juice box or like a, whatever, like a treat. And it was always just like this very cute relationship. When he passed away, it was one of the hardest things that like we had to tell her. And she broke down. It was super sad. And then the same with Herb, who was our next door neighbor. She had an amazing relationship with him and his wife Maxine, and like we still go. He's passed away since too, and so we still go. And whenever we go into the area, we go hang out with his wife Maxine. And yeah, it's just, the elderly are a beautiful thing. So I don't know that that answers your question, but that's just where Dr. Feelgood took me.
I think that's a great path to go down. That brings to mind my grandparents' neighbors growing up, and kind of talking about like the elderly's not respect, admiration for youth. My grandparents lived in a cul-de-sac, and he had like three neighbors. One was Jack. Remember Jack? I just thought that was a cool name as a kid. But he would let us, in the most non-creepy way possible, he would let us, me and Ryan, he would let us come over and play with his train set. Just sharing the things he's into.
Yeah.
And then across the cul-de-sac was a couple, I think they were from Hungary. And I wasn't like, we were always, me and Ryan were like kind of scared of them for no reason other than they had accents. Like they had very heavy accents. But when we were playing in the cul-de-sac, they would just kind of come out and watch in the most non-creepy way possible. Because back in the 80s, that was something that old people could do and not be considered creeps. But I remember just kind of, we weren't doing anything like particularly dangerous or anything. But they would just kind of sit and watch us, kind of like how we watch our kids do the things today, just observing. And that kind of echoes, there's some ripples coming from that. Like we, make sure to just kind of sit down and watch once in a while.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, if they're older, then you have to imagine that they either didn't have kids and missed that, or they have kids and their kids have gone on to their own path and don't live there. So just the sight of seeing and hearing kids play, while sometimes it can be obnoxious and you can be like, oh no, don't throw that ball at my car. There's definitely a higher level to what they were doing, and they were, enjoying your youth, enjoying like the memories of their own children, playing on that same street if they happen to have lived there their whole time. And I think that's what it was for the the elderly people that on my block that Brooklyn was hanging out with, and like you said, like that ripple effect of Brooklyn being able to show kindness to someone, and that person showing kindness back. Not being afraid of the older person like looking different or walking different or anything like that. Has transitioned her into a person who we always tell her like she's our lover, like our kindness person. Like she's also our crazy person too. So it's like she's very like polar. She's the
Sorry,
loudest one in the
who's
house.
it, who is this again?
Brooklyn, the middle child, yeah. She's the loudest one in the house. She's the most like creative one in the house. And she's also like the deepest, like emotional one in the house. Like
Yeah,
when anyone's hurt, she's
feel
like
that
there
too,
to,
for sure.
yeah, yeah. It's something else,
I'm really enjoying Dr. Feelgood's
right?
little little sharing out of working with elderly. One question I put in the chat here, specifically for a resident doctor, is how you brought up regret was a common theme. How does that change how for the doctor, for the good doctor, how does that change how you do things today, or how you might have not done it if you hadn't worked with them?
Yeah, I like that.
Definitely.
I've heard a similar story from people who've worked. I can't remember who this person was, but there was a book I was reading. Oh, no, it was a podcast. I think I sent it to you guys. It was this divorce lawyer. It was a really weird thing. Like it was a divorce lawyer who was talking about divorce, but he was also talking about love and marriage in a very interesting way. And he used to work for or volunteer for geriatric patients or old folks' homes or something like that. And he would say the same thing. He would say very much like he learned so much from them about life and regret and what the most common thing was, like Dr. Feelgood said, like the regrets of what they missed, them focusing on status and income and gathering stuff, and then at the end of their life realizing that like none of that mattered, and that they wish they would have just spent more time with their kids, more time with their spouse, more time with their friends, etc. Like relationships, relationships, relationships.
I feel like I'm nailing that part.
Yeah.
I don't have any regrets about that. So I feel like I would say Dr. Feelgood would tell me good job so far. Um, here's one thing that kind of comes up. Here's a thought: is me and you were talking about just tiredness, lack of sleep, lethargy. I really try hard not to let those things go in the way. Like when the kids ask to do something and maybe it's like 7:45 and we're trying to get ready for bed, much to Kristen's chagrin, I think that's the word, I will normally say yes, or I will try to say yes, whether it's going outside for a few minutes or playing a game that the girls really like. I will try to work through the fogginess of the late day and do those things. Most of the time I'm good at it. Even though on the inside I'm like, just lay down. My inner voice is telling me to just stop. But yet I go on.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me because I'm very much like I need to go to bed at a certain time, and my energy is very like done. So I try to be there as much as I can when I'm there, and then I think I should try to show up double on the weekends is all. That's all I can handle right now. That's all I can muster for them. But again, going back to Dominic today versus Dominic, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, like I think it's a huge improvement, and I'm along the lines with you and Dr. Feelgood here. I'm setting myself up to be to have very few regrets, like as it relates to my relationship with my children in this phase of their life, and then hopeful that I can continue it forward the rest of the time, because I know there's big possibilities for regrets and loss of relationship once the kids, hit those older ages and they move on to their life. So I'm just, one of my big focuses is trying to make sure that I'm uh, staying a good connect to each one of them, so that wherever they go, like, we still have a connection somehow. That's something on my mind with having a, 17 year, not almost 17-year-old.
Mhm. And that is not an opportunity that everybody has.
Yeah,
And you have that
exactly.
time. Well, Dom, it's been 30 minutes. How are we feeling now?
Feeling good, man. Yeah.
I'd say I'm at 7+.
Yeah. Okay.
I've raised.
Good. Sweet. Awesome.
How about
Yeah, it
you?
was
What's your number? Where we at?
I'm good. I'm 7+ to 8, like I think I told you in the text, I'm 6 to 7+. And I think the only way I was gonna jump was just having the conversation and enjoying the morning. What's up, Mint Mink? How you doing? I seen you lurking back there. I like to join the Twitch and then enter the mod mode, because then I can see the lurkers' names.
Yeah, I have that on this screen.
Super super fun to be able to see those lurkers back there,
Yeah.
and just wait to see. Oh, we have a good morning guest.
Oh, we got Hazel. She is definitely at a -5 today because
Oh
it
no,
was windy. And when it's windy, the house shakes
kept her up.
and she doesn't sleep, which means mom and dad don't sleep. So,
Oh no, yeah, that's a bummer. That's a bummer.
all right, I gotta
All
go
right, you
feed
guys.
the kids and shower my body.
Bye, everybody.
Say
Thank you
bye,
for
Dom.
coming.
Wave to
See
Dom.
you guys tomorrow. Bye, Miss Hazel.
Say bye, Dom. Okay.